There's a specific list of SUVs that almost never enter a repair shop, and for the people who fix cars for a living, that's a nightmare. See, they make their money on your check engine lights and transmission failures. But the 5 SUVs I'm showing you today are absolute profit killers. If you buy one, you might never have to pay for a major repair again. Let's get into why the pros hate these two reliable legends. Number 5. The American Tank. Chevrolet Tahoe. Let's start with a truck that mechanics genuinely complain about at dinner. The Chevrolet Tahoe from this generation was built on what GM called the GMT 900 platform, a chassis so over-engineered for American roads that it became almost comically difficult to kill. The foundation is a pushrod V8, an engine design that dates back decades and was never meant to be fancy. No overhead cams, no variable valve timing complexity, no turbos trying to cram more power out of a smaller package. Just iron, combustion, and torque. At a time when other manufacturers were chasing horsepower numbers with fragile technology, Chevrolet kept the recipe simple. And that simplicity is exactly what makes this truck a financial fortress. The part that really hurts mechanics is not just the engine's durability, it's the parts ecosystem around it. Because GM sold millions of these trucks over nearly a decade, the aftermarket is absolutely flooded with components. Brake pads, water pumps, sensors, alternators. Everything is cheap. Everything is available at 3 different stores within 10 miles of wherever you live. When a repair is actually needed, the cost is so low that shops can barely justify the labor markup. You are essentially driving a vehicle that the entire American auto parts industry has agreed to support indefinitely. That is an advantage that luxury brands simply cannot offer you. Now, there is one thing worth knowing before you buy. This generation of the 5.3-liter V8 came with something called active fuel management, which is GM's cylinder deactivation system. On paper, it saves fuel by shutting down 4 cylinders at highway speeds. In practice, over time, it can cause oil consumption issues that real owners have experienced. The fix that experienced Tahoe owners swear by is a small device called an AFM disabler. It plugs into the OBD2 port and keeps all 8 cylinders firing all the time. It costs $100. Takes 30 seconds to install and eliminates the one legitimate weakness this truck has. Buy the disabler the same day you buy the truck, and you have essentially sealed the deal on a 200,000-mile vehicle. Number 4. The Turbo Killer. Mazda CX-5. Walk into any dealership today, and you will notice something almost universal. Turbocharged engines are everywhere. Every brand is doing it. Ford, Chevy, Honda, Volkswagen. The pitch is always the same. More power, better fuel economy, smaller package. And for a few years, it works. But somewhere between 80,000 and 120,000 miles, that little turbo starts asking for things. Intercoolers, wastegate actuators, boost solenoids, and eventually the turbo itself, a part that can run anywhere from $800 to over $2,000 installed. Mazda looked at that trend, shrugged, and kept building the CX-5 with a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter 4-cylinder that simply breathes air and burns fuel the old-fashioned way. In a segment full of ticking time bombs, this engine is the odd one out. What makes the CX-5 genuinely dangerous to repair shops is the combination of that engine with a traditional 6-speed automatic transmission. That detail sounds boring, and that is entirely the point. The industry has been moving towards CVTs, continuously variable transmissions, because they are smooth and efficient on paper. But CVTs are also expensive to rebuild, difficult to diagnose, and in many cases, designed to be replaced rather than repaired when they fail. Mazda refused to go that route for the naturally aspirated CX-5. 6 forward gears, a conventional torque converter, and a transmission architecture that has been understood by mechanics for 30 years. When everything around it is becoming a black box, this gearbox is an open book, and an open book that rarely needs to be read. The CX-5 also benefits from something that does not show up on a spec sheet: Mazda's engineering culture. The company calls it Jinba Itai, a Japanese concept roughly meaning the unity between horse and rider. And while that phrase sounds like marketing, it reflects something real in how Mazda tunes its vehicles. They are not chasing the cheapest production cost or the flashiest feature list. The result is a build quality that feels deliberate and consistent in a way that outlasts the ownership experience most buyers expect from a $30,000 crossover. Shops see these cars once a year, if that, and when they do show up, the bill is almost always small enough to be embarrassing. Number 3. The unbreakable daily. Honda CR-V 4th generation, 2.4-liter engine. There is a reason used car lots move CR-Vs faster than almost anything else on the lot. It is not because they are exciting. Nobody has ever described a 4th generation CR-V as exciting. It is because the people who buy them tend to drive them for a very long time, which means when one finally does show up for sale, buyers with any research behind them recognize it immediately. The 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engine under the hood of this generation is known in enthusiast circles as the K24, and it has a reputation that borders on mythological. Honda put variations of this engine in the Accord, the CR-V, and several performance vehicles over the years, and in every application, it proved to be nearly impossible to wear out under normal conditions. It is the kind of engine that makes mechanics look at the service history and quietly wonder what they are going to charge you for. The specific detail that separates the K24 from a lot of its competitors is the timing chain. This matters more than most buyers realize at the point of purchase. Timing belts, which many other manufacturers used during this same era, are wear items. They need to be replaced on a schedule, typically somewhere between 60,000 and 100,000 miles, and the job is not cheap. Miss that interval, and the belt snaps. The engine meets itself in ways it was not designed to, and you are looking at a repair bill that can total the car. Honda engineered the K24 with a timing chain instead, a component that is lubricated by the engine's own oil system and is designed to last the life of the engine without scheduled replacement. That single engineering choice removes one of the most common large-ticket repair events from the ownership timeline entirely. What completes the picture on this CR-V is how little else can go wrong with the overall package. The suspension geometry is conventional and well understood. The electronics are straightforward by modern standards, and Honda's parts availability rivals GM in terms of cost and accessibility. 4th generation CR-Vs with well over 200,000 miles on the odometer are not rare finds. They are almost expected if the oil was changed on time. That is the maintenance bar for this vehicle: fresh oil, fresh filters, and occasional brake work. Everything else largely takes care of itself. For a mechanic trying to build a business on repeat customers, the CR-V owner is a nightmare client: reliable, low maintenance, and almost never in a hurry to spend money. Number 2. The luxury vault. Lexus GX 460. There is a particular kind of buyer who walks into a Lexus dealership looking for prestige and walks out having accidentally purchased one of the most indestructible vehicles ever assembled in a factory. The GX 460 sits in Lexus's lineup, looking every bit the part of an expensive luxury SUV. Quiet cabin, premium materials, a badge that signals success in a parking lot. But underneath that polished exterior lives something that has nothing to do with luxury in the traditional sense. The platform beneath the GX 460 is shared with the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado, a vehicle engineered specifically to operate in conditions where failure is not an option. Desert expeditions, mountain rescue operations, remote territory work. The Prado platform was built for environments that would destroy a conventional SUV in an afternoon. The GX 460 is that same machine wearing a tailored suit. The engine is a 4.6-liter V8, and the way it is matched to the vehicle's weight is the key detail that most buyers never think to ask about. This engine produces around 301 horsepower, which in a performance context is modest. But the GX 460 is not trying to win a race. It is trying to run indefinitely. The result is an engine that operates well below its stress threshold in virtually every real-world driving situation. Highway cruising, city traffic, occasional off-road use, none of it asks the engine to work hard. Engineers call this being understressed, and understressed engines last a very long time. Add a heavy-duty cooling system that was designed with serious off-road thermal loads in mind, and you have a powertrain that barely registers highway driving as a challenge worth noticing. What makes the GX 460 particularly dangerous to the repair industry is the gap between what buyers think they are purchasing and what they are actually getting. Most people assume that a luxury vehicle means expensive maintenance, complicated systems, and dealer-only repairs. With European luxury brands, that assumption is often correct. With the GX 460, it is almost entirely wrong. The mechanical underpinnings are Toyota truck components, proven, widely understood, and supported by one of the deepest parts networks on the planet. When something does eventually need attention, the cost is dramatically lower than what a comparable German or British luxury SUV would demand. Owners get the leather seats and the quiet ride, and mechanics get almost nothing. It is one of the cleanest value propositions in the used car market. Number 1. The king of no-shows, Toyota 4Runner. There is a version of automotive progress that the Toyota 4Runner simply refused to participate in. While the rest of the industry spent the last 15 years adding gears to transmissions, shrinking engines, layering on electronic driving aids, and chasing fuel economy numbers with increasingly complex technology, the 5th-generation 4Runner sat back and did almost nothing. The same 4.0-liter V6 that launched this generation in 2010 is still being sold today. The same 5-speed automatic transmission, the same basic suspension architecture. From a marketing standpoint, that stubbornness looks like a liability. From an ownership standpoint, it is the single greatest gift Toyota ever gave its customers. Every year that passes without a redesign is another year of real-world durability data, confirming that nothing fundamental has broken, failed, or needed rethinking. The transmission is worth spending time on because it tells the whole story in miniature. The broader industry trend has been toward more gears, 8-speed, 9-speed, and 10-speed automatics that are designed to keep the engine in its efficiency sweet spot at all times. In theory, that is smart engineering. In practice, more gears means more clutch packs, more solenoids, more software logic, and more potential failure points in a system that lives under enormous mechanical stress. Toyota's 5-speed automatic in the 4Runner was engineered with a torque rating that significantly exceeds what the 4.0-liter V6 actually produces. The transmission is, in the most literal sense, overbuilt for the job it is asked to do. That surplus capacity is what allows these trucks to absorb 200,000 miles without the transmission ever becoming a conversation topic. What the 4Runner represents at the top of this list is something beyond just mechanical reliability. It is a philosophy. Toyota made a deliberate choice to protect the ownership experience over the ownership period rather than the purchase experience at the dealership. That means buyers are not getting the smoothest ride, the best fuel economy, or the most modern interior for their money. What they are getting is a vehicle that repair shops see so infrequently that some mechanics joke they have forgotten what the engine bay looks like. In a market where manufacturers profit from complexity and dealers profit from service bays, the 4Runner is an act of defiance. It is boring, it is old, and for anyone who has ever handed a mechanic a check they were not expecting, it is exactly what they should have bought instead. So, are you going to keep funding your mechanic's vacation, or are you going to buy a shop killer? If you own one of these, tell me your mileage in the comments. Let's see who has the highest. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep your money where it belongs, in your pocket. See ya in the next one.